It's yap time, guys. Okay, so a lot of people struggle with same face syndrome, and I was no exception. But how I learned to combat that was uh, building characters based off of how their personality is. So with Bug J, he's aggressive and he doesn't like to socialize. And I thought that his build could be more hourglass shaped. So, and his face would be sharper, but not too sharp. And that way it still has a more natural look. He's skinny, long, lanky, like a bug. For Lightbulb, I tried to picture her as bubbly. She's bubbly. She's a bubbly person. So her face would be more rounded. And she's a lot shorter. That's just because I view her as shorter. But her limbs are also thicker. For Cabby, she's typically motherly and more mature. But she also is a bit sensitive or shy, I guess. The way I depict that is having her top part try to be a little bit thicker, but her legs be a lot more lankier for the deer thing. But I mostly depict that in her hair, which is long and, typical girl things or whatever. And her bust size, which is a bit large. A lot larger than, yeah. You can see it's not I'm not trying to be sexist. As far as OCs go, I can show you. I'm gonna find a good picture of him. Man, I past all the good pictures. Here. Right here. This is Chris. He's tall. He's really, really tall. But he's depicted as a bit stocky and, sharp with the hair. Because he's also aggressive, but he's also emo! And his face shape is more roundish, sharp. With this guy right here, Daniel, not his brother, he's taller than Chris, surprisingly, but he's also a lot more confident and charismatic. And I depict that by his broad shoulders, right here, broad shoulders. And again, an hourglass-shaped body. But his arms are also a little bit more thicker. For his brother, Daniel, for Christopher's brother, I gotta find them. The perspective makes it difficult, but he's long. He has a few similar traits to his brother, like the similar face shape and similar body, kind of. But again, he's bubbly and stuff, and Chris kind of straightened out his hair. His traits typically take after his mother, who has a little bit poofy hair. So for his redesign, I added a ponytail because I'm just that kind of looks a little bit similar to Lightbulb and maybe a bit too much. So adding a ponytail adds to his more makes him look a bit more feminine. It doesn't really matter because yeah. The way I designed my humanized version of one, which the perspective is whack on this, but I designed her hair to be in a kind of one shape. But her dress is it plays a huge part in her, what kind, Bill Cipher-esque personality, let's make a deal, situation. But her tiny chest helps to accentuate her dress. And sharp cat-like eyes and like small soulless eyes help to give off that kind of feeling where something's off. And Pluto is a great sample of people who are just off. Give me a second to take off the filter on this one. Pluto is terrifying. He's meant to be terrifying. And how I show that is when I add shadows, I typically erase the thing around his pupil, like shadows on his pupil. So it gives off this sense of dread. His build is broad, his shoulders are broad, and he keeps his limbs close to him as a robot, because robots typically have limited movement. His hair is meant to be kind of flowy, but very long, so it goes down to his waist. And as a character design, I put a permanent smile on him to, again, insinuate this feeling of dread. Every time I draw Pluto in this kind of situation, I actually kind of get a bit scared. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, that man's coming out for me. In Oldos... okay. Another way to avoid same face syndrome is with the eyes. Christopher's typically are a bit more sharper. And like lidded because he's emo. And he's a lot more cat-like in his reflexes. Another thing you do is erase the eyes completely. This, thank you, is Tomogui. I struggled a lot with same face syndrome when I built Tomogui, but something I did to combat that was drippy-like hair, almost like goo, and have his hair cover his eyes. Freckles were also a big part of that. But he's soft-spoken and more reserved. But he also tends to be a bit charismatic. So to avoid having him pop out, which I didn't want him to be, because, he's more reserved, I had his hero clothing be black with gold, whereas white with gold, which would more match his hair, however, wouldn't really fit him. Now, actually, that's, what's his name? That's not Tomogui, that's someone else. Get out, please. This is Tomogui. Umai Tomogui. Cannibal. Yeah. Something about Tomogui that I always really hated was how his eyes were a bit too big. And it further insinuated how he just didn't have a nose. But he's the kind of person to talk like this. But he was also I also wanted to make him a little unsettling. He's like, he blends in, but there's something off about him. I tried to combine the eyes, the way the eyes are shaped, and the arms. And I wanted to show off his arms because his quirk, when he bites into himself, he can grow limbs. Or, like, whatever he eats. Well, no, it's more like he can replace the missing parts with other limbs. So if he nicked himself, he could just grow a finger off the cut. But I also... I don't know. Tomogui was hard. Just... yap, 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 yap. Yap, 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 yap. Anyways, that's all. I just wanted to yap.